Everybody, thank you so much for joining today. This time we're going to skip having chairs involved because we're going to do a little exercise on the floor, but we'll start in standing. And so just come into what's called a mountain pose. So think about having your heels directly under your knees directly under your hips. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down so you can really stack your torso so your shoulders are right above your hips. Just let your hands, your palms fall where they may. Lots of times they'll kind of face forward. And then think about a string pulling the top of your head toward the sky. And this will bring your chin down just a little bit. And you can have your eyes open or closed. We're just going to take a few breaths just to get into our bodies, into this moment. So grateful that you made this time just to be with your mind, body, breath, and with me today. So just begin taking long inhales through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. You can allow yourself to audibly sigh and just feel any tightness, any tension that you can find releasing with every exhale. So inhale, nice and full, and exhale completely. You can think about where your feet meet the ground. Lift your toes up and feel all four corners of your feet. So the round base of your big toe, and then the little bony outside of your baby toe and your heel. Think of four corners on each foot. You can drop your toes back down. Just think of really firmly grounding both feet. You can even visualize with your inhale, energy coming up through the earth, crawling up your body, filling all the way with your full breath, all the way to the top of your head. And then visualizing as you exhale, any tension, any anxiety draining back out into the earth. Just whatever visuals appeal to you. You can think of the air entering your nose and warming inside your lungs, and then exhaling toxins out with your breath. Whatever appeals to you. We'll just do a few more breaths. One more big inhale. And sigh out with that exhale. Okay. And then remember this pose that I just led you through. This is mountain pose, but at the end of class, when we're on our backs in Shavasana, this is the same position that you're going to find your body in, just be in total alignment. So now, with your breath, keeping those nice long inhales, nice long exhales, just begin to bring a little motion, a little movement into your body. Maybe when you were kind of scanning up and down earlier, your attention might catch on somewhere where you find tightness. Feel free to keep scanning. I have already found where my tightness is, which is why I almost always begin with my neck and shoulders. So I'll invite you to join me. Just bring your left ear toward your left shoulder. Just let your head hang heavy to that side. Feel the stretch in the right side. You can even put your arm out to the side, kind of lengthen that line from the top of your head to your fingertips. And just inhale and exhale and just find a little more length, a little more open, a little softer. And then when you're ready, you can drop your arm, maybe let your head roll forward, finding some space, length in the back of your neck, letting your shoulders drop down away from your ears. Just nice long inhales and exhales. Finding openness and length. You might want to just wiggle your neck from back and forth, left to right. And then when you're ready, you can move your right ear toward your right shoulder. Again, keeping your shoulders down, just bringing your ear toward your shoulder. And then finding length in the left side of your neck and shoulder. And you can roll that gently forward and back. Again, just allowing the breath to fill that area and then release any tension that you find with every exhale. Depending on how your neck is feeling, you may want to explore lifting your chin to the sky, relaxing through your jaw and the front of your neck and chest. Just pull your shoulders back, letting your chest open, your heart open, and just keep wiggling your neck around, finding where it wants attention, wants to release. We could spend like half an hour just on neck and shoulders. At least I could. But hopefully you're kind of noticing a difference between just a few minutes of putting your attention, bringing your breath in. Okay, I've begun doing little circles with my shoulders. So on the inhale, bring your shoulders up, and on your exhale, bring them back and down. And just do this at your own pace. Inhale up, stretch and open your chest, open your heart. Stretch your shoulders back and down. It's like you're putting your shoulders into your back pockets. And again with this, think about your posture. You're keeping your hips over your knees, over your ankles, your head pulled up high. Okay, I'm going to reverse direction and roll my shoulders up and forward, finding space on the back side of my heart. We don't think about it often, but our heart really can be open forward and it can also be open to the back. So think about that. You can even imagine breathing in through the front side of your heart and out through the back. So inhale up and forward, and exhale and kind of exaggerate, opening up across your back. I always want to wiggle with my stretches. So whatever your body feels like doing, listen to that. I'll give you gentle guidance, but more important, this is about you and your breath and your body. Okay, so now we'll do a big inhale. Bring both arms straight up overhead. Bring your palms together. You can clasp them if you like, or have your palms just touch. And just now we're going to inhale, stretch up. Think about trying to pull your rib cage up away from your hips and find length in your torso. So inhale and exhale while you hold and pull your ribs up. And then exhale, sigh, let your arms fall down to your sides. And again, inhale, just scoop the air up around you, palms up and then toward each other. And then exhale, let your arms fall. And you can do this at your own pace. Okay, we'll do one more like that, big and exaggerated up, pulling up, stretching up, ribs away from your hips. And then exhale, let your arms fall down to the side. Okay, this time we'll inhale up and then hold on to your right wrist with your left hand and just gently pull that wrist over to the left side, stretching the right side of your body. So you're just making a nice little arc. Breathe in and out. See if you can find a little length with each exhale. Just breathe into the space between your ribs, into the right side of your lung. Okay, we'll inhale up to center, come up tall, and then switch. Now this time hold on to your left wrist and pull it over to the right, stretching the left side of your body. Might feel little snaps and pops with this stretch, that's okay. A little deeper with each exhale. And one more on this side. Now we'll come back up to center, pull up tall, and then drop your arms back down. You can do a few little shoulder rolls to kind of reset in case any tension crept into your shoulders with that action. Okay. I could do these shoulder rolls all day. Okay, again, just kind of find that length in your shoulders or in your neck. Open your chest, open your heart. Let's bring our hands to our hips. You can widen your stance a little bit if you'd like, but here we found a little length in our sides. Let's start moving our hips from left to right. So you can keep your feet planted. Just getting our hips warmed up, opened up. Go from left and right, or even do little circles to whichever direction. We'll do little circles. You can get them bigger, more exaggerated, kind of hula hooping a little bit. You can bend your knees and get nice and deep, or keep your legs straight. I'm going to reverse direction. You can bring your hands onto your knees, wiggle, stretch. I'll stand sideways so you can see. This is one of my favorite spine stretches, is just to push above my knees, and it's like I'm pushing my spine long. I'm pushing my tailbone away from the top of my head. Go as deep as you want. Work on, if you'd like to keep your kind of wiggle and walk the top of your head toward the floor. See what kind of length you have in your hamstrings. You can bend your knees as much as you want to bring your hands toward the floor. See if you have room to straighten them. And anytime you need a break, I just keep your head down, your chin toward your chest, and then just roll up one vertebrae at a time, stacking, letting your head be the last thing to come up. So let's do a little bit more of that hip opening. So whether you want to go side to side, get a little dancey, a little hula hoopy, whatever works for your body. But we're going to just basically work toward a forward fold. So spine nice and long. As much bend in your knees as you need. You can let your head hang toward the floor. Let your face relax. Let your jaw relax. Even roll it around. You guys can hear me, but nobody can see your face. Hanging upside down and relaxing. You can nod your head, yes, or shake your head no. Feel the weight of your head pulling your neck nice and long and relaxed. And again, anytime you need a break, just roll up to standing, kind of reset, or see if you want to get deeper. Don't forget to breathe. No holding your breath. Keep your breaths nice and gentle. They don't have to be exaggerated and long, but just no need to hold them. Okay, I'm going to prepare to stack my spine, keeping my chin to my chest, rolling all the way up. Shoulders up, back and down. Whatever little movements to reset. Okay, so I'm going to come back to facing you in mountain pose. We'll do a little bit of balance exercise. So think about, again, really meeting the ground with your foot. So you've got 4 corners to your foot. It's nice and planted. Bring your weight onto your right foot and just play around with your balance a little bit. You can start by even just using your left foot as a kickstand. You can have your hands at heart center or just on your hips, whatever feels comfortable. And then just play around. See if you can bring your leg up and put the bottom of your foot on your calf. Whatever we do, we just don't want to put our foot on our knee joint and push that way with our knee. You can bring your foot up if you want to play a little more with your balance on the inside of your thigh. But just find a spot that you're comfortable and then come back to your breath and see if you can find a place where you can balance and calm your breath. And just find one spot to gaze at. And you can play with closing your eyes and see. It's amazing how that affects your balance. So if you want to find a place where you're comfortable, whether you keep your eyes open or you're able to close them, we'll just do a few more breaths on this side. Okay, and come on down. Kind of reset. We'll come over to the left side, and it's always interesting to see how your balance is. Typically, it can be quite different from one side to the other, so it's just a nice thing to check in with also. How are your 2 sides balancing? So see if you want to bring your foot up. You can either keep it as a kickstand on the ground, bring it up to your calf, or bring it up and press against the inside of your thigh. And it's just fine to have a chair or a wall nearby to steady yourself. But the pressure against your foot and your thigh or your calf can really help with your balance. Pushing everything into the center. Okay, one more breath on this side. And then come on down. You can shake your legs out. Shake your shoulders out. Anywhere you might have just picked up any tension, we'll shake that right out. How many minutes? Okay, we're doing pretty well. Let's do a little bit more balance. I'll show you guys the standing T. So come, I'm just, wherever you want to be. I'll stand sideways so you can see me. So I'm going to start with my right foot and just take a big step forward. I have my hands clasped behind my back. And I'm just going to try to, with keeping my hips pointing toward the ground, work to make my body look like a standing letter T. So it's like you're holding your abs in, pointing your hips toward the floor, You can have a little bend in your knee if that helps. Point your toe, make yourself a nice T. And if you fall and want to try again, no problem. Okay. Feel free to try that again if you want on that side. I'll do one more on this side. So right side again. Just stepping forward, pointing your hips. Try not to rotate to the side. Whoop. Okay. So now reset, shake your hips out, shake your shoulders out. Same thing, but we're just gonna step forward with the left side, left foot. Whoop, yeah, left side is different. So point your toe. You got your arms behind you. Hips pointing toward the ground, as level as you can make them. Don't forget to breathe. That's important. Okay, I'm gonna step back. Feel free to try as many times as it takes. I'll do one more on this side. And it's like you're pulling the back side of your body up toward the ceiling after you get it level. Your abs help. Everything's working together. Okay, whew, nice. I love balance poses. It's like a fun challenge somehow. Okay, I'm gonna point my camera down because I'm gonna come onto all fours after I get a sip of water because I've been talking nonstop. Okay, so on the floor, not everybody's knees are happy coming directly onto the floor. Feel free to get a towel or a blanket. I'll show you a few things that can make it a little more comfortable being on the floor. So one is simply having a towel under your knees. Another can be to get another towel or blanket and put it here behind the crease of your knees. So if you need to sit, if you're in a yoga class and everybody is sitting cross-legged and you're not into that, your hips are not into that, there's lots of things you can do to make yourself more comfortable. So another one is to kind of ball your blanket up and sit on it. Or put it underneath your rear. Right now we're not going to be in cross-legged, but anything that'll bring your rear higher than your knees will allow you to sit for longer periods of time with more comfort and without falling asleep, your legs falling asleep. So right now, we'll just come under our hands and knees. So feel free to have a blanket under your knees. And if your wrists don't feel too comfortable, making a fist and keeping your fist in line with your arm can reduce any wrist pain. But it's really good to use your wrists as long as you can, because when they're sore, it's usually just lack of use. So you want to build up use. Okay, so we're gonna do a little cat and cow. So for cow, we're gonna inhale, drop our bellies down, really point your tailbone up as well as your chin, and inhale, up. And then exhale, round your back like a Halloween cat, and you're pushing the ground away with your palms. As you arch your back, let your head hang heavy again. Fully exhale. So inhale, scoop your back down, chest and tailbone up. Exhale, curve your back, and really push the floor away. So do these at your own pace with your own breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Can add little wiggles, and again, you're scanning for anywhere that you're holding on to tension and just letting it go with the exhale. So I can really feel tightness in my low back. So you can adjust where you're stretching, where you're rounding, to stretch the parts that are asking for it. And one thing I like to do is look back from on my left side. So curve my hip to the left and look that way. And then curve to the right and look that way. You're curving your spine left to right. You can also drop your rib cage down and then inhale and pick it up and kind of do, it's like a cat and cow, but you're doing little circles. And then you can change direction. I call this one, or when I learned this one, it was called barrel roll. And you can really like bring your hips and your shoulders into it. This is a good just like get up in the morning and do a bunch of weird stuff on the ground. Just to get everything warm, get those joints lubricated. Okay, and again, if your wrists are sore, you can always use a fist. That kind of takes the pressure off your wrist. Okay, so now let's push back into child's pose. You can, as you're just kind of pushing your rear back toward your heels, you can have your knees together, or I find it a little more comfortable to have your knees apart. That way there's some room for your belly. And if you're someone who has breasts, somewhere for those to go. And then just walk your hands out forward. See if you can bring your forehead toward the mat and your elbows even toward the mat. You'll feel another stretch across the back side of your shoulder, opening up your heart on the back side. And then this is a nice active pose. It looks like you're not doing anything, but if you're really pushing your tailbone toward your heels, bringing your chest and your forehead toward the ground, and then your elbows and palms on the ground, it's really a little bit of work. So let's just stay here for a few breaths. Okay. This is one of my favorite poses. Okay, on the next inhale, we'll push back up to hands and knees. And then I'm going to bring my right leg nice and long. Got my toes on the ground. And just do a little bit of forward, backward movement. You're pushing back, pushing through your heel. You'll feel a nice stretch all the way up the back of your leg. So just breathe into that, stretch and lengthen. Okay, switch legs. Just kind of warming up the back side of my leg. Okay, so now bring those knees together, come back into a nice square position. Got your knees directly under your hips, your wrists directly under your shoulders. We'll do a little bit of spinal balance here. So just start first by outstretching your left arm. You can have it your palm face the ground or to the side, but just here, I'm touching the wall, so I'm going to scoot back. So first, your left arm straight out in line with your back. And then see about picking up your right leg and bringing that out nice and straight as well. So you're thinking of your hips pointing directly to the ground. We're not off sideways like this. We're trying to point directly to the ground. Spinal balance. And then if you want, you can see if you bend your leg, can you reach back and find your foot? Maybe, maybe not. It is not important. It's just something that's kind of fun to gauge. Because after you do a little yoga and you get a little more limber, you can do things that you didn't know you could do before. So then if you are able to get a hold of your foot, you can push your foot back, bring your chest up, and it's kind of like a bow and arrow motion. You're pulling against your arm and opening up through the front side of your leg, your hip. Okay. Let's exhale down, kind of reset. Do whatever little movements you need to do to let go of any tension you might have just brought in. Hips and shoulders relaxed, rolled around. Okay, so now again we're in kind of a square position on the floor. Wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. This time, guess what? We're going to bring our right arm forward, palm facing the ground, and then bring your left leg long. And again, we're looking for a nice square facing the floor position with your hips. Come out nice and long, and you can just hold there. Inhale and exhale, holding your abs in. Or if you want to try again on this side, you can bend your knee, see about coming back, finding that foot, and then pulling your chest up, acting like a bow and arrow, pulling against your hand with your foot. Just hold there for a breath or two. Again, no holding your breath. Always be breathing. Okay, now set that down. We'll push back into child's pose again. Sorry for all the sniffles. That can't be fun to listen to. Okay, so feel your body just relax toward the floor. You're pushing with your hands, pushing your tailbone back toward your heels, bringing your chest, your forehead, your elbows, everything toward the floor. Okay, now look up toward your hands and just gently walk both of your hands over toward the left side, stretching the right side of your body. Feel that long line from your right fingertips, a nice curve all the way back to your hip. Feel that openness. I hope I said the correct thing. We're stretching our hands toward the left and stretching the right side of our lungs, our right rib cage. Just breathe into that. Let's do one more breath with a big sigh, exhale. Okay, now walk back to center. And now walk your hands toward the right side, stretching the left side. Feel it all the way across the left side of your rib cage, from your hips to your fingertips. Let's do a big inhale and a big sigh, exhale. Okay, walk your hands to the center. Get into your deepest child's pose. Hips back toward your heels. Try to pull your elbows to the floor. Let's do one more breath here. And then gently, just using your hands, walk yourself up to seated. You can bring your hands, I've just put my knees back together. Bring your hands either to your low back or to the floor behind you. And just stretch and open up. Paying attention to your neck, but see if you can lift your chin up. Let your head drop back. If it feels good, get your hands on your low back. Really open up. Okay. Bring your head back up. Roll your shoulders. Breathe into your neck and shoulders. Make sure you let go. Any tightness, any tension there. Again, whatever little wiggles your body's asking for, just really breathe in. Scan your body. Find now whatever position you're most comfortable in, seated on the ground. I'm going to bring a pillow underneath my rear so that I can sit in cross-legged pose. But you do whatever feels good for you. All those little things I showed you earlier. If you want to be on your knees with blankets underneath you, it's really not too important. Or you could even be in a chair. Completely fine being in a chair at this point. So find where you're comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes down. Take a sip of water if you need, because we'll be in one position for a little while. Okay, so hips are even. Really think about letting your body be in nice alignment. Take a big inhale, bring your spine nice and straight, shoulders up, back and down, head back up, being pulled gently toward the sky, which will bring your chin just down just a little bit. And then just let your arms fall, let your hands fall wherever they're comfortable. That allows you to keep your shoulders back and down. Keep your chest nice and open. We don't want to be hunched forward. So whether your hands are on your knees or in your lap, palms up, palms down, whatever feels good to you right now. So now we're really just going to slow down and be with our breath. Just follow it for a moment. Watch it enter. Notice that little space before the exhale. Follow your breath out of your body. Notice that space before the next inhale. So we're just going to practice for a little bit. And you might choose a variety of physical sensations that you notice that are attached to your breath. You may notice your belly rise and fall. You may notice expansion in your chest. You may notice where the air hits your nostrils when it enters, and where you feel it when the breath leaves your body. So take a moment and find what exact spot you'd like to focus on, and we'll call that our anchor. And see if you can just keep your mind on just that anchor. And other thoughts will absolutely float in. That will happen. But when you notice them, just let them dissolve, let them go, let them pass like a cloud, and bring your attention back to that anchor point, whatever sensation you've chosen. And again, scan your body, make sure you're not holding tension while you focus. Just breathe that out. Relax, soften, and follow your breath. And if you notice that you are lost in thought, just see about letting that go and experiment again with just staying with your anchor, with your breath. Your anchor could also be a sound. There may be something, a noise that's getting your attention, and you can just be with that. And now, if you've noticed that there's thoughts that have pulled you away from what you've chosen to focus on, now see if you can just be curious about what is pulling you away from your chosen point of focus. And spend as much or as little time as feels comfortable to you just investigating that. So scan your body, notice if there's tension, breathe into it, let it go. Focus on your breath, whatever physical sensation. And then allow yourself to be curious about what pulls you away. And if anything is uncomfortable and you don't want to be with it, just come back to your anchor again and again. So we'll just spend a few moments letting our minds, our focus and attention kind of playing around with it. Okay. We'll take just a few more breaths in this position, scanning your body, thinking about your posture, your alignment, what feels open, what feels tight perhaps still. Thinking about where we're placing our attention on the present moment with our breath. And every time it gets pulled away from what we intended to focus on, we still have a choice to be curious about what's pulled it away, or to decide to place our attention back where we originally chose. And that's no different from our lives outside of this meditation practice. And that's a great thing to remember. It's helped me a lot that I practice placing my attention where I choose to place it. Again and again and again. Okay. So let's take 3 big inhales. I encourage you to audibly sigh or do whatever feels good with the exhale. Okay, and now we can roll onto our backs, however is comfortable for you. Feel free to put blankets underneath you. I like to have a blanket rolled up underneath my knees. And sometimes it's nice to have one under your head or your neck, like a little roll, to allow yourself to still have a little space, support that curve under your neck. Definitely not necessary, completely fine to lay on the floor without any aids. Just think about that posture that we had at the beginning. You want your hips and knees and ankles in a straight line. Shoulders, we still want that nice open, so you're going to roll your shoulders underneath you, letting your chest and heart be open. And your arms just falling to your sides, palms up is usually more comfortable on your back. So again, just a few breaths here, and really now think about everywhere that your body is meeting the ground. And with every exhale, just feel your body relax deeper, melting into the ground. And here you can choose to listen to my instruction, or you can choose to block me out and meditate as we were earlier. You're just staying with your breath, staying with what's happening in your body. And just in these next few moments, we will relax our bodies. Your left arm, feel it heavy on the ground, completely still. Your left shoulder, relaxation spreading down your left side into your left hip, heavy on the ground. Your left leg, asleep. Let your foot just flop open. Think of your right hand and your right arm, heavy on the ground. Relaxation spreading from your left shoulder, down your right side, to your right hip. Your right leg, heavy, melting into the ground. Feel your low back open and relaxed. Upper back and shoulders. Your belly, Your chest light and loose. Your jaw relaxed. Your cheeks. Your eyelids. Feel your eyebrows drift apart as your forehead smooths in relaxation. And then allow your scalp and your brain to relax. And just be with your breath. Just a few more moments, fully relaxed. One more scan. See if you can find any other spots that you can find any tightness. Breathe into that spot and feel that open and melt, soften. Okay. And begin to lengthen your inhale and your exhales. Bring visuals into it if you'd like. Begin to just bring a little motion back into your fingers and your toes. Just wiggle them. Maybe circle your wrists and your ankles. You can bring your arms overhead and get a nice full body stretch. Really just move, wiggle anything your body's asking for as we prepare to push ourselves up. Actually, first we'll roll into the fetal position, whichever side is comfortable to you. Take a few breaths on our sides. And then just, if you can, keep your eyes closed and just use your hands to push yourself up. Find a comfortable seated position. Check your posture. Get your spine nice and long again. Pull the crown of your head up toward the sky. And your hands can be down at your side. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center. And take a big deep breath in through my heart, out through my heart. And bring the softness and gentleness I gave myself in this practice. Try to bring that to everyone else I encounter today. I'll bring my prayer hands up to my third eye. Take a breath there. Try to bring the softness and gentleness I brought into my body, into my mind as well. I wish this for you. I'll bring my hands back to heart center, or you can place a hand on your heart and place the other one on top of it. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.